You're listening to the AstroMommy Daily Horoscope, a forecast that hopes to shine a light in the dark, helping us all see where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. Whether you're a first-time listener or a long-time subscriber, thanks for being here. I truly appreciate you being in the AstroMommy community. I hope you enjoyed today's horoscope and card reading. If you would like to support the AstroMommy Newsletter, there are several ways to do so. Subscribe on Substack, share it with a friend, schedule a reading, check out my family's Etsy shop, Metaphysical Flamingo, or just leave a tip. Without further ado, here is the Daily Horoscope. Total lunar eclipse this morning in Taurus, conjunct Uranus and opposite Mercury, the Sun, and Venus, plus a yowling cat. Daily horoscope for Tuesday, November 8th, 2022. Good morning, friends. For today's post, I want to explore this eclipse a little bit more, and today is the day of the full moon poems. I am posting my poem very soon, and if you'd like to post yours too, there will be instructions on how to do that in the upcoming poetry post. Okay, let's get into the astrology. The total lunar eclipse occurred at 6:01 a.m. Eastern Time. If you missed it, you can watch the replay at timeanddate.com. I got up super early. I looked at my phone at 4:42 a.m. and laid in bed for about 40 minutes and then got up at 5:20, a few minutes before my alarm was set to go off at 5:30. I made my coffee, got dressed, and went outside to try to view the eclipse. I was able to see the beautiful red beaver blood moon behind the trees across the street from my driveway. Here are a few pictures. Not the best photos, but it was still a magical experience. The first photo is the total lunar eclipse in Taurus through the trees across the street from my house at about 5:49 a.m. Eastern Time. The second photo is a little bit lighter, about 6:04 a.m. Eastern Time. I woke up my husband at about 5:50 a.m. to come outside and join me until sunrise. We stood on the little hill in my front yard that is next to my driveway and watched the red moon get lighter and lighter as the sky woke up. The next photo is about 6:13 a.m. Eastern Time. Once the sky turned a beautiful azure blue across the street and down at our neighbor's house, in between rooster crows, we heard a cat yowling. We quickly went inside as soon as we saw the black form start to slink over toward us. I can only imagine that it was a female cat in heat by the way she was yowling, so loud and eager. I thought of Venus in Scorpio, yowling, hungry for love, having an intense itch that needs to be scratched. I thought of Uranus and Taurus behind the moon, way, way, way off into the distance of the galaxy, invisible to my eyes, but I knew he was there. I saw Mars up to the left of the moon, shining brightly with a red hue. I tried to take a picture of Mars, but it just looked like a bright dot in a sea of black. It was not an impressive photo. The song Low Red Moon by Belly played in my head too while I was watching this eclipse. I feel that the lyrics of this song are really quite perfect, with Venus in her detriment opposing the exalted moon in Taurus, conjunct Uranus and Mars being the dispositor of Venus, the Sun, Mercury, and the South Node in Scorpio. I encourage you to listen to this song with astrological, archetypal ears, but I will read the lyrics now because I think it adds a poetic depth. Low Red Moon by Belly. So what? You think this is usual? Strange moon, strange land, strange man? Hold the hands of tiny horses, hold them kindly, man. Low red moon, how can you sleep like a baby, sleep like a baby? But you shine so different on another, you shine different on another. I look up and I see the raising of an old hope, brave and tattered. A shining knight with shining eyes, he shines around me brightly. So now, I say this is beautiful. I think you are strange. Low red moon, how can you sleep like a baby, sleep like a baby? But you shine so different on another, you shine different on another. Strange moon, strange land, strange. You made me cry when I was young, and I was young. Now I got strong arms for a girl, and I say, he belongs to me, he belongs to me. He's a human bed of roses. Well, now that I've shared with you all my total lunar eclipse experience, let's get into the astrology of it all. If you are listening to the recording, there are a lot of pictures in this post, and I have included them all in the show notes. Below you will find a picture from Solar System Scope of this eclipse. Here you can see the lineup of the moon, Earth, and the sun. The Earth is lining up perfectly to block out the light of the sun and thus creating this lunar eclipse. The moon will glow red as this happens because some of the light will still reach the moon as it goes around the Earth, as you all saw in my pictures. In the next picture of this alignment, I am showing you what it looks like from Earth's perspective, looking towards the sun. You can see the moon, Earth, sun, and Mercury in alignment, with Venus just a little to the left behind Mercury. Venus was conjunct the sun on October 23rd when the sun and Venus met in Venus's Cazimi moment at 29 degrees Libra, and then they ingressed into Scorpio together. So even though Venus is not perfectly lined up with this full moon eclipse, she is very much involved, being so close by a degree, but also being the dispositor of the moon in Taurus. This picture is a top-down view of the planets. The alignment I'm speaking of is shown here from the bottom to the top as Moon, Earth, Sun, then Mercury. Venus and Mars are close but not in perfect alignment with this eclipse. They do, however, rule the north and south nodes, respectively, and are thus involved directly with this eclipse. The moon is in Taurus, Venus's home sign, and the sun is in Scorpio, traditionally Mars's home sign. The modern ruler is Pluto, which is not shown here in this picture. In this next photo, you can see the alignment from the other direction. Now we are looking at the eclipse from the other side of the sun. We can see Venus, Mercury, the sun, Earth, and the moon, which you can't actually see in this picture because she is behind the Earth, but she is there. And way off in the distance, you can see Uranus, aligning perfectly with this eclipse. Not only are we having an eclipse, but the moon is conjoining Uranus, and Mercury is conjoining the sun and is Cazimi, in the heart of the sun. That's like being in the lap of the king. You can see Mars off to the left there and Jupiter over to the right as well in this picture. So these pictures have been describing what is happening in outer space in a 3D view. Now let's look at the 2D astrology chart for this eclipse. In this chart, we can see the sun at 16 degrees Scorpio, 0 minutes on the left, with Mercury almost conjunct him at 15 degrees Scorpio, 52 minutes. Mercury's actual partile conjunction won't be until 12:42 p.m. Eastern Time today, but he is within 8 minutes of arc, and so he is technically already Cazimi at the time of this eclipse. Venus is there too at 20 degrees Scorpio, 13 minutes to the right of the sun, and the south node is on the other side of Mercury at 13 degrees Scorpio, 24 minutes. Across the chart from the sun, Mercury, and Venus, you can see Uranus at 16 degrees Taurus, 56 minutes retrograde, and the exalted moon at 16 Taurus, 0 minutes. And the north node at 13 Taurus, 24 minutes. So not only do we have the sun and the moon in an opposition, but each luminary is in a significant conjunction, the sun with Mercury and the moon with Uranus. And so the sun and Mercury are opposite Uranus and the moon while in conjunction, and Uranus and the moon are opposite Mercury, the sun, and Venus while in conjunction. This is a lot. So how do we make sense of all of these combined energies? To put it in simple terms, our circumstances are going to have some sort of breakthrough while having to make some hard decisions regarding our relationships, our environments, and our goals in life. There could be dramatic shifts, developments, or people coming out about things in a wild way. This eclipse could also be a huge catalyst for issues involving women, especially things that are related to women's reproductive rights, and Venus being in her detriment in Scorpio may not be quiet about it, like the yowling cat across the street from my house. She will make herself known and in a loud way. It's an interesting thing, the exalted moon in Taurus, which, among other things, represents motherhood, children, and fertility, opposite Venus in Scorpio, which represents sex, seduction, and deep needs and desires. My curiosity is super piqued as to what radical changes this eclipse energy will bring. On top of this, at the exact moment of this eclipse, Scorpio is the ascendant, and Mars is the traditional ruler of Scorpio, and is placed in the 8th house of death and rebirth. So this configuration feels like a transformation of self, letting go of something that has been restricting you in some way, dropping some burden that you no longer want to carry. Let's not forget that Venus is in detriment in Scorpio, like I've said, and is still within orb of her square to Saturn, and also has just come off her own opposition to Uranus. So this feels like there has been something percolating or in the works that has had some chains around it, and this total lunar eclipse could be the catalyst where those chains are broken and something untamed is released, like a stallion bursting out of a locked stable, or like a black cat going into heat and yowling at the moon. Like I said, over the weekend, I think we will see people make major changes to their lives or have major things change in their circumstances that require them to pivot. And of course, we could see news reports involving the rights of women and women's health topics. I don't usually get into politics in my newsletters, but today is the midterm election, and so it has to be noted that there will probably be some important and revolutionary shifts, because how could there not be with Uranus so involved in this eclipse? Anyway, it will be interesting astrologically to see how the story unfolds over the next 6 months. Depending upon what areas this eclipse is hitting for you, it may be an auspicious time to make changes in your life, or it may be wiser to hang back and see what other people do before you make your moves. Let's move on to the card for the day. What is the guidance for today? and there I was, surrounded. On this card, we see a large flower amongst many small flowers. On the bottom of the card, it says, and there I was, surrounded. The little book that comes with this deck says, quote, surrounded by the various and sometimes bizarre creatures of nature, I received a message. It said, you and the earth are one, unquote. Feeling surrounded could be many things. Surrounded by love, support, comforts, surrounded by loss, strife, challenges, surrounded and trapped, surrounded and overwhelmed, surrounded by trees, ocean, or flowers like on this card. I'm going to pull a clarifying card. 5 of Pentacles. On this card, we see a mother holding her sleeping child on her lap. The mother's head is bowed and pressing her forehead to her child's, eyes closed, with a look of sorrow on her face. So this feels to me like people are feeling down and out. I do feel the love and hope from the mother holding her child close and comforting them on this card. So I feel that these 2 cards together are a reminder that even though times are hard right now, you are supported by the universe somehow. This eclipse energy could be really challenging for some right now, but these 2 cards are saying that love and hope surround you, even though you may feel like you are in need of great charity. Let's pull a tool card. Power. On this card, we see a flower coming out of a lightning bolt with the word power across the bottom. So I feel that this means growing your power, the power that you have within you. Since this flower is bursting out of a lightning bolt, I feel that this is symbolizing breaking out of old habits, old ways of thinking, and old ways of operating. By being the beautiful, powerful flower you are meant to be, don't hold your light back. Don't give up on yourself. You are more powerful and resourceful than you know. The little book says, quote, power is the ability to manifest intentions. Attaining power is relatively easy, but the side effects and consequences of using it are incredibly dangerous. Acquiring knowledge is usually a more beneficial endeavor for the individual, unquote. So there could be the feeling of being surrounded by something very challenging right now, and the message is to find your inner beauty and resilient nature and let it burst forth like a cosmic bolt of electricity. What do you think? Do you see something else? Please share your thoughts in the comments. I hope this is helpful. Until tomorrow, AstroMommy.
Today's horoscope was brought to you by the total lunar eclipse in Taurus, Sun and Mercury conjunct and opposite Uranus. Quick links and resources can be found at the bottom of the newsletter. Today's cards were pulled from the Morgan's Tarot as well as Ethereal Vision's Illuminated Tarot, both available on Amazon. If you purchase anything through the affiliate links that I provide in the newsletters, I will make a small commission, but there are no additional costs to you. I don't share or recommend things that I don't 100% believe in and use myself. Thanks for listening.